Montreal Canadiens are proud to select Ivan Demidov.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another live post-game show of the Curfew Boys on YouTube and Twitter, also known as X. It is Friday, January 10th. It's Friday then, and Saturday, Sunday, what? And I am so happy. I don't know how you guys are feeling. I don't know how you're all feeling, but I am freaking happy. And we'll get to why. Sammy here with Joey and my cousin Chris. Hey now, gentlemen, how's it going?
We all have the Curfew Boy sweater this evening.
I got mine.
Yeah, same.
Different colors.
Nice. Different colors.
The three different colors that we used to have on the market back in the day, and that there's many requests for it to have it back. Yes, we are due to bring it back. We're gonna find a way to bring back these sweaters. So listen, thank you all for tuning in to the Curfew Boys live post-game show once again on YouTube and Twitter, also known as X. Please like and subscribe, absolutely free. Share this to all your friends. Our episodes are also available audio format on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. I gotta say something out. I gotta mention something. Well, actually, there's two things I want to mention. First of all, quick, our hearts and our thoughts go out to those in LA that had to experience those terrible fires that's been going on in LA. It's like we all saw videos and pictures. It's absolutely brutal. So our thoughts go out to the citizens, the people. Listen, as a fireman, as a firefighter. A big shout out to the boys and girls out there who are working tirelessly to help their community and help those badly, because it's not looking pretty out there. So on behalf of the Curfew Boys, obviously our thoughts are obviously with those affected in the fires in LA. Second thing I want to mention is somebody asked me, gentlemen, like, what are the Curfew Boys? Like who are you guys? What do you guys do besides talk hockey? And first things first, we're six guys. We're six Italians. Okay. I feel like I have to mention that because we're six passionate Italians about life, but especially when it comes to their favorite hockey team, the Montreal Canadiens. So what we are, I told this person, I'm like, look, we're six guys that talk about the Montreal Canadiens in a very passionate way, but we want to give out that vibe that you guys are hanging out with us. You're hanging out with us. We bust each other's chops. We talk about the team, but we poke fun at each other from time to time, and that's what makes our vibe like a fun place. So that's what we kind of our brand is basically. We invite you all, come hang out with us, pretend you're having a beer with us. If you're home, crack open a beer, pour a glass of wine or something stronger, you know what I mean? And just
something non-alcoholic just in case.
Whatever it is you want. It could be a glass of water or
coffee, like we always do as Italians.
If you do coffee at the 10 o'clock at night, it could be tea, whatever it is, grab a drink, whatever it is, smoke a cigar if you want. Not that I encourage smoking, but do whatever it is that makes you comfortable. Come hang out with us and let's be part of the conversation. That is the Montreal Canadiens. That's who the Curfew Boys are. We're not professionals. We're not analysts. We're not professional analysts. We're not professional reporters. We're just hardcore fans that love this team, that love talking about this team, but we bring a family and hardcore friendship vibe within the conversations. It's like hanging out with the boys.
Can I add to this?
Yeah, sure.
I wanted to say, whoever said that, is we did this before we brought the Curfew Boys, so we try to bring exactly what we've done since we have been teenagers to basically to exposure to everybody else, to invite them. So that's, we've done this since we were kids, and now 20 years later, we're still doing this. But we want to do it in obviously a fun way where we can bring in more Habs fans. And on a second note, for people that maybe aren't Habs fans, we do talk a little bit about hockey too, in general. So that's always a helpful thing. Just couple things I'll leave out.
I couldn't have said any better myself. It's you know what, like I've known, like we're only three right now. There's still Anthony, there's Zook, and there's Adri. I grew up. I've known Joey, Anthony, Zook, and Adri since my God, since the age of like 12, I believe.
12,
So it's
yeah,
over.
13,
It's over.
yeah.
It's over 20. It's over 20
Over
years that
20
we've known
years.
each other. It's over 20 years. We're talking about the Montreal Canadiens. My cousin Chris, I've obviously known him my whole life, and he's just as much as a diehard Habs fan as we are. We brought him in, and you know what I mean. Like that's who we are. We're just a bunch of diehard Habs fans who love talking about this team. We're not professional reporters, analysts, like I said. We try to share news that we hear from professionals, either on Twitter or on TSN, Sportsnet, LDS, what have you. That's who we are, and like once I explained that to the specific person, and obviously our title, the Curfew Boys, during one of the greatest times of our lives, the pandemic, and if you lived in Quebec or if you lived in Canada, certain areas there was a curfew. So we did it during that famous season where there was the North Division, the Atlantic, and all those, and there was a curfew. So it doesn't take a genius to figure out where we got the name. So that's who we are. That's who the Curfew Boys are. If you are new, thanks for tuning in. I hope you understand how and why we do what we do, and we're gonna get right to it. The Canadiens.
Can we voice Bob Cole? The Canadiens, except in overtime. Well, they did win in overtime. The Canadiens win in overtime again. Like, how is it? How is it that they're doing what they're doing? Seriously,
there's something special. We mentioned
something going on, man.
We mentioned where's Anthony when we need him? It's the beard.
Was just gonna say, maybe it's the freaking beard. Maybe that's what was missing.
It could be. I mean, he's what? They've only had one loss since he started growing that thing. I don't even know if he's
to Chicago.
It was to Chicago, the last fucking place team. I don't even think he had the beard when they lost versus Columbus. I don't recall that, but yeah, let's get to it. The Canadiens win in overtime again, like Chris said. God bless you, Bob Cole. In overtime by a final score of 3-2. We got goals from who else? None other than Cole Caulfield, Josh Anderson on shorthanded, and who else in overtime? The captain, Nick Suzuki. And I think we could start off by saying we all thought this was going to be a long night after those two early penalties in the first period. And the one time Jake Evans makes him, probably the only time I can think of Jake Evans making a mistake, giving away that freebie up in the high slot. Chikrin puts it in, beats Jakub Dobeš. And but again, I think the key to this win is not giving up. It's
resiliency.
Yeah, this is pretty much it's almost, this game almost resembles the one of Colorado's win. I think the flow of the game of Colorado was a lot more exciting than this one, although this one wasn't that far behind in my point of view. This win was very similar to the one of Colorado. I get it's the they didn't win in shootout, but Nick Suzuki wins it. Jakub Dobeš had a pretty good game again. And there's something about Jakub Dobeš beating past Stanley Cup champions of the last like
decade,
the last almost. Yeah, just put him up against. I checked the schedule. All he has to do is play against St. Louis in like March, and if he beats them, he literally beat all the last Stanley Cup champions up till 2018 Washington Capitals.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy how the run is. When you compare it to Colorado, I actually think they did a little better. I thought they had a better game than Washington did.
They did. Well, they dominated the second period. They dominated.
Yeah, in the first period, I think Washington played a little better, but that was the penalties. But against a good team, I don't expect to dominate for 60 minutes. But from the last time I was on, I know I've been absent for a little bit. This was the thing I was always crying wolf about. Was I actually wouldn't have even cared if they lost. It's how they play in progressing as a team. And tonight was a game that I could say, even if they would have lost, which they didn't, thankfully, it was a great game by them on the road against the number one team in the East.
Yeah.
That second period was absolute domination. Third period, they gave up the goal to a Habs killer, man, Lars
Lars
Eller.
Eller.
Always scores against us.
Well, he didn't score. Oh no, he did score.
Yeah,
Sorry.
he did
Yeah, he
score.
did. Excuse my bad. But what's the name of the forgive me, I completely forgot the name of the player that's the fastest skater, I think, in North America. He played in the minors.
Frank.
Is it
Something
is
Frank.
yeah.
Ethan Frank.
Ethan,
Ethan
yeah, I'm
Frank,
pretty
yeah,
sure
that's
it's him.
him.
Yes, he had like the fastest skating time
Yeah.
in the AHL All Star, but it's also the fastest time, like I think in North America. Correct me if I'm wrong, but played his first NHL game, and he's like 26 years old too. Like he's at that age where it's kind of like now to make the NHL, or else like your chances get a bit slimmer after that. And he got the assist on that, but he beat Arbor Jacki to the race.
And
And
then he
yeah,
sort of undressed him, and he found Eller for the goal. But again, the Habs didn't give up. They had a decent enough period where they can bring it to overtime. And then
Mhm.
again, Nick Suzuki with Lane Hutson making a tremendous defensive play.
jeez,
Just
he was
and now I'm
exhausted though.
yeah, and now I'm going through it. I still can't believe we went through Florida win, Tampa win, Colorado win, Washington a win. Who am I forgetting?
Vancouver,
Vancouver win. It's like
and a Chicago loss.
and a
Like,
Chicago loss. Well, regardless, if you tell me before we
Mhm.
started the New Year's road trip down in Florida that we would have all this, I would gladly take the Chicago loss.
we discussed this, like Chris. I think we discussed this with our uncle too. How important this
January.
month, January, exactly. And right now, I mean, there's still. I'm looking at the calendar right now as we speak. There's still tons of hockey, and not even 24 hours coming up. They're gonna face another big challenge. The Dallas Stars at home at the Bell Center.
But Sam and Chris, even if they lose tomorrow, I said if you come out of here with 2 points in the next two games against two really
Yep.
good teams, it's already great as it is. They're playing with confidence.
To me, yeah, I totally agree. 2 points. 2 points. Yeah, I was happy. I think I personally, I would love. I think we'd all love to see them get 4 points. But if they were to actually get 3 out of the possible 4, to me, I would consider that a success. And if they do lose tomorrow, knock on wood, you know what? 2 out of the 4 back-to-back games, yes, I could definitely accept that. And they're still in a good position as far as the standings is concerned for
Well,
that wild card
they,
spot.
they control their own fate, right? Because
But that's it.
they are behind Columbus, Boston, but they have games in hand on them. So if they do what they're supposed to do,
Mhm.
especially on Boston's the one I'm keeping my eye on because
Yeah,
they're the team that they can catch because they're only, I think now,
they're
3 to 4 points behind with so many games in hand.
well, they're 3 games. Yesterday, dude, I checked yesterday. They were 4 points behind with 4 games in hand.
So now it's 2 points behind with
3 games in hand.
But
But
Boston are not playing well.
they're playing terrible right now.
Exactly.
They're 2 points behind. Canadians right now at 43 points. One behind both Pittsburgh and Columbus that are tied at 44. Columbus right now holds that final wild card spot. Canadians are only 1 point behind, 2 points behind the Bruins, and also 3 points behind Tampa Bay, who holds the 3rd spot in the Atlantic Division.
Tampa Bay might be a little harder because although
Yeah.
they're behind, they have 2 games in hand. I think
Mhm.
Tampa now.
That's
But
correct. Yes.
they're playing better hockey than Bruins are. But the wild
Yeah.
card spot is. I never thought I'd say this after the criticism I gave Marty myself.
Yeah.
But
What the
again,
fuck?
it's
With that
yeah, but
fucking
that's-
eye. You have the eye of
I
Sauron
still
next to
have
your
the
fucking
eye.
name.
The eye right now is
I'm
focused
giving
on
you
Marty.
I'm giving you the evil eye.
Yeah, but you
The
know
eye
what?
right now is focused on Marty's beard. It's making sure every game that he keeps that thing on. That fucking
you know
beard's
what?
got to stay.
Fair
We're
enough.
we're talking about the beard and everything, but honestly, Marty himself, thanks. It's about time that we actually throw him flowers. The
Mm.
way that he's managing and his infamous this year is going to be hard coaching. Like this year, he has made some tough decisions in benching guys. He's played the secure game. He's done what he's had to tie up the game, shut down the game at the end. His coaching decisions have been absolutely outstanding, and they haven't necessarily been easy ones.
No.
Struble didn't see the ice
5
after
minutes.
he took his second penalty. And
Yep.
Pizzetta, after he was on the ice when they scored the second goal, he did
Yeah.
see another shift in the game. And
Yeah.
I know that's tough. I know that's very tough, but Marty is Marty's really elevating his game in terms of coaching, and like honestly, the criticism that he was fed about a month and a half, 2 months ago, man, what a punch back towards the negative voices.
What's made this change? That's like
the players have followed through. Let's be honest, guys.
They're following through. Well, first of all, it all starts with Marty. Probably made some kind of speech. I don't know. I'm just speculating. I'm just thinking.
Liney comes back.
Hold on.
First.
Yes. Hold on a sec. But
Sam,
I'm pretty sure
you have a camera somewhere. You have a secret camera in that.
I wish. If I had a secret camera, dude, I wouldn't even be here. I'm kidding. I think it started with that. With Marty telling people like I love people that doubt me. It fuels me, and I appreciate it. I appreciate those. It starts with that, but it didn't start at that moment. But it kind of starts with that. So, Chris, absolutely. Patrick Laine coming back, I think just the type of caliber player that he still is. His skating is not the same this season, but he's still got that elite shot that's just as good as Ovechkin's and Matthews out there. So they see that. They see him fucking scoring goals in the first game back. They see him putting the puck top corner, top cheddar easily, getting a hat trick, doing that on the power play,
breaking sticks along the way.
There's that too. Like if we think as fans watching this, if we don't think that it doesn't have some sort of impact on these young players, they're still young. They're still young, man. If we don't think it doesn't have an impact, we're wrong. Like we don't know this game one bit. So you have that.
Carrier then comes in and stabilizes the defense.
You still had defensive issues. Unfortunately, Justin Barron, we knew his time was limited when like we didn't see that much of a progress that we were all hoping for. We saw Logan Mailloux progress in Laval. Everyone was there. It's like, yeah, it's just a matter of time. You know what? He was benched a lot this season too. And the contract extension he got of 2 years, getting paid less than Jack Guy, you knew it was a matter of time. They go get Alexandre Carrier, an experienced defenseman, still young in a sense. He's a young veteran at the age of 28 who's still got he's still got 2-3 years left on his contract. He's still got valuable years remaining. Guy with experience, plays on the right. So you look at that. But then you also look at putting Gouli on his left side where he belongs. Pairing him up with an experienced defenseman, putting Jack-Eye with an experienced defenseman like David Savard. And then, you know what? It's like, yeah, Lane Hutson, let him fucking cook on the left side as well. Matheson's a good enough skater that you could put him on the right and he could recover if anything. He'll still do his mistakes like he usually does, but Matheson puts in the effort every day. As soon as Marty figured out that, I think that those defensive pairings and that core, then you add Patrick Laine scoring all these power play goals that the team lacked, okay? And so there's that. The slow emergence finally of Kirby Dach. Let's add that into the puzzle as well. And then you bring a goalie from Laval, his first NHL game. They didn't have any confidence in Primo, unfortunately, who got a shutout tonight in Laval, but we'll get to that later. 5-0. You know, you bring in Jakub Dobeš. Do you see this kid, the size, he's so well composed, he's calm, the way he carries himself as a rookie, he's trying to be the calmness of Carey Price and all that. You hear that, you're like, wow, gets a shutout against the Florida Panthers, the reigning Stanley Cup champions. It's all these little, it's a positive domino effect, one thing after another. So there's such a great confident momentum going on right now. Marty had to have said something that at the end of the day, the players got to buy in. They have to buy in, and I think that's what's working. The players are buying in. You were finally getting you're finally getting goals from Kirby Dach instead of just Suzuki and Jake Evans. But yet Jake Evans, Yoel Armia, Emil Heineman, they're still performing. It's all these little pieces of the puzzle that are finally coming together.
The power and Sam, of friendship. A couple
exactly.
thing on your points. Laine, you mentioned how he brought a positive impact. Look at what they're starting to do without him because he hasn't been there last. How many games has he missed?
Fantastic. Oh, David Savard too. Fantastic point.
Exactly. But that's you're going to need that in a season because there's no way your team is healthy for 82 games in a season.
I totally agree with you.
So just the fact that they're winning all these big games without him is a major sign. And second, the one about Hutson, he just, to me, Marty held a bit of a leash on him at the beginning, but he finally let him go. What's the biggest indicator is overtime. He starts, not Matheson anymore.
Yeah.
That's
No,
a big
but
indicator.
that's a big indicator. But you know what that is, Joey? We're all there being like, put him on the power play. It's like I think
We're
it would have been
impatient, yes.
it would have been a little too. I think it not that it would put pressure on the kid, and not that I don't think he would have handled it, but I don't think it's responsible for a coach to put in a kid like him, or any kid for that matter, to be the first wave of the power play and the only defenseman on the first wave of the power play. You know what I mean? It was a matter of time. I think Marty just wanted to see, go out and play, do your thing, show me what you got, show everybody what you can do. And then once they saw, also Matheson got injured at one point, remember? Hutson went on. Did Gooley get injured too?
Well, he didn't get, I wouldn't say injured, but he didn't come back right away from the block shot. And they handled it well. He had a block shot. I'm pretty sure.
Okay. You're talking about tonight.
Yes.
Okay, no, but I'm talking about like how we got to Hutson being finally taking over the spot on defense for the first power play when Matheson got injured and he missed like a game or two.
I think Hutson
went in there and something like that, and he capitalized. It didn't work right away, but it showed like, oh, okay, hold on a sec here. Like, yeah, this kid, okay, he slowly looks like he can work. And it happened again, and then another time. That
better win that Calder.
Well, he's in the race. At the end of the day, he's getting a nomination. Like it's between him, Celebrini,
he leads the rookie. He leads not NHL defenseman rookies in points. He leads all rookies in points as a defenseman.
Yeah. He's insane.
The only thing, and this is a great opportunity to talk about other teams other than the Canadiens. Obviously, he did something that only Bobby Orr and Nick Lidstrom have done in leading in points for any rookie. So I think that's very special, and he automatically has to be top two. Joey, I'm willing to say top two. But have you guys taken the time to watch Macklin Celebrini? He's honestly and arguably the best team on the San Jose Sharks. And look at him compete. Look at him go into puck battles. This guy has missed 12 games or so. He's still leading rookies in scoring. I don't think he's leading his team in scoring, but he is a freaking dominant player. Like Macklin Celebrini is going to be a force to watch.
Oh yeah,
he's going to carry the Sharks a long way.
We got the best player in the draft, though. Just to say.
Oh, absolutely. We got the best offensive player in the draft, but I'm telling you, like Macklin Celebrini is giving me, he's giving me kind of Crosby vibes in that his 200-foot game is going to be absolutely outstanding.
Well, and he went on spitting chicklets again to say like Lane Hutson's the best player I've ever played with. They were teammates in Boston University.
There you go.
So like Macklin Celebrini, I think it loves Lane Hutson, not just as an ex-teammate, but they're probably still friends. They're for sure still friends, and he praises him off the ying, like worships him.
Maybe that says something. Can convince him to come over, be a second line center.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, good luck with that.
Reve, Joey, Reve, Sidorgas.
Demidov, Celebrini, and Line as another line? Who would want that?
Any day of the week.
Sam, that reminds me of the Colorado back in the day, when they signed both. I know it didn't work out. Solani and Korea.
Yeah, I remember that.
You remember that back in the
those top. I remember that. It was like a 2005.
That top six of Colorado is on paper was one of the best top six I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, they still had, it was still Sakic, Forsberg, Hayduk,
Tanguay.
Was Tanguay there?
Yeah, Korea and Solani. It was those six.
Are you sure Tanguay was there?
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, because Tanguay won.
Yes, you're right. I don't think I can forget it. With our friend, see, we bring this friendly vibe. We always had a friend we like to talk shit with, Massimo, and he was a huge Colorado fan. But I would give praise where it's. I mean, it didn't work on I didn't work on the ice. They didn't win.
No.
But on paper, that's six. Any offensive type of minded guy like I am, like when I love to see offense, right? It was a dream, and I don't know if Montreal can get anything close. Maybe it's it could get there. If Laine can find back that skating, Sam, which I think will take time. And
his conditioning, his skating conditioning this season was never there yet. And I still say the same thing about Kirby Dach. I think he's better now. He had a bit of a rough game, I found tonight, though. He had it wasn't his best game tonight. I found like that that kind of, I guess, that tripping slew foot penalty, when that happened, man, I got so pissed off because I thought it was a bullshit call leading to a 2-on-1. I think you had Gallagher and was it Josh Anderson, or was it I don't think it was Dvorak. It was probably Gallagher and Anderson, and they blew the whistle like right as they're going on the 2-on-1. And then you kind of look and see, it's like, yeah, that was a bit of a
penalty.
It was a penalty. It's like it wasn't necessary. Anyways, sometimes you battle for the puck and it happens. But I thought Slavkovsky had a bit of a better game too.
That's
tonight.
what I was going to say. I thought he had a much better game tonight than what we've seen overall in the past few games. Not that he's been bad, but I think he had more of a presence tonight. And it's going to be a big factor because
he carried the puck. He carried the puck a lot more than usual.
But why? But why did he have a better game? What did he do? He moved his goddamn feet. You move your feet, go after the play.
That's the trickiest thing to unlock in somebody, is to do things like that consistently.
Yeah.
That's the thing that's got to get him going. Same with Doc. You have that in Suzuki. I'm kind of glad we're seeing this in Caulfield, because Caulfield has been up and down. I'm not saying this season, I'm saying in his career.
I like this. Dobesh or Patrick Waugh prime?
Oh,
come on,
Dobesh.
Come on, Vincent. It's Dobesh for sure.
Yes.
It's Dobesh for sure, Vincent. Clear answer.
But we're getting an answer from Caulfield. He can certainly be consistent. I mean, with his injury, kind of up and down, but he's showing this season that he can be consistent game in, game out.
30 goals is coming.
Yeah,
first time in his career, it's coming.
Maybe 40. But we had doubts on his consistency. I'm not going to hide it.
But was he really inconsistent, or was he playing?
Was injured. Fuck.
No. Well, who are you talking about now? You guys talk about Caulfield. Caulfield last season had a much better two-way game, and believe it or not, he's actually a lot more defensively responsible this season, more than he was last season, except this season he's popping the goals.
Yeah, he's doing both. Yeah, but he had a play tonight where it would have been a surefire chance if he wasn't there. And same with Suzuki, both of them very quietly. You don't see it, but they had two moments where both of them stopped a surefire chance from Washington shooting on Dobish. And then same with Dobish. I like to go with in-game moments. Yeah. If you guys remember at 1-0 on the power play, it was already 1-0. I forget who was in front. It was a cross crease pass that Dobish had.
Oh, he stuck the leg out. Yeah. That
saves. Those three moments is what are part of what make the game. We don't think about it as much now. We think of the goals, Suzuki overtime. We even think of Hutson's play. But those three plays, those don't happen. I think Washington win the game.
Yeah. Well, but I could kind of sort of count. Yeah, I agree. I could kind of counter that. Charlie Lindgren, the last 2 seconds, he robs both Lane Hutson and Slavkovsky right at the goal line
for sure
on that power play. And then I think I don't know if he definitely got injured because they switched up. But I think also, Joe, the shorthanded goal by Josh Anderson, massive.
Yeah,
I think it's a massive goal. That shorthanded goal was massive.
Not just for the game, for him.
Yep.
Yeah. I want to go back to one thing too, since we're on the subject of the Washington Capitals. Actually, there was a very interesting interview that TSN had with Bruce Boudreau talking about Caulfield. And we're talking about this consistency in potting goals. At the beginning of the season, when Caulfield was floating right around, 10, 12 goals, he was leading the league at that point in time. They interviewed Boudreau, and Boudreau basically said, it's the first games of the season. Teams are disorganized. Teams are not at their best. As soon as they get that structure in place, they're going to figure out Caulfield. They're going to shut him down. And my God, good. I had a little bit of a worry because there was a stretch of games where Patrick Laine was just doing all the scoring, even though Caulfield was putting up points and playing very well.
Yeah.
But I think it goes beyond the shadow of a doubt. Caulfield is not a streaky beginning of season scorer. He's really establishing himself as one of the best. He's currently tied in 5th place in the league, and he's 2 goals away from 2nd place. I think the only one that's pulling apart right now is Leon Draisaitl at 31 goals, but the rest are 25 and lower. Anyways, all that to say is
that goal was a beautiful goal. That play by Slav, that heads up play, found him right away.
Beautiful.
But it's also Like the way Cole got the puck on his blade and just released it right away. Didn't do any dribble with it. Just got it, roofed it right away.
He
And
also
that's what he
rang one
does.
off the crossbar, like a
Yeah.
wicked
I
shot off
know.
the. I almost
Yes.
surprised. So
Yeah.
like he's doing it more and more and more, and the way that he's breaking off the goal line, just cutting out and finding these sharp angles, like holy shit! If goalies are not going to be ready, he's seriously, I think, going to start scoring. He's gonna. I think he's gonna have more multi-goal games at the end
Well,
of it all.
this is the thing. Like he's reaching that age, that 23-year-old age. Like the
He's
23,
still a
20
child.
He's still a child, but now like he's entering the beginning of that prime age. Okay.
Yeah.
And I think, Chris, not to repeat what you said in our previous episode, but like Slav isn't there yet physically. He's just not. He's a big kid. He's probably he's strong now, yeah, but the physical maturity isn't there yet, and you see it. You see it different. I'll give you the best example I could give everybody here, and I thought about this on the drive back home from work. Is like, why is Emil Heineman having so much success as a rookie in the NHL right now?
That guy looks like Frankenstein.
Besides-
with jets on his skates.
How old is Emil Heineman's 23 years old.
Yeah.
Emil Heineman would have made as a rookie, would have made the NHL in the year like in the 90s and 2000s at this age. And he'd probably be playing the same way. It's that age. I'm telling you, it's that age of like, and Lane Hutson's what? He's what, 20, 21?
Didn't he just turn 21?
Probably.
Wasn't it just
Him
his
and
birthday?
Slav are the same age. And I get it.
A couple of years,
two
Sam.
different types of players. I understand that. But you look at why is Emil Heineman playing so well? Like, well, it's also look at the age. He's a lot more physically mature than Uri Slafkovsky.
And Slafkovsky, Hutson, I'm afraid to see them at 23.
But that's my point. This is a very good problem. And it's not like Slav is terrible. I don't care what anybody says. Like, Slav was the right pick at number one, because when playoffs come, we're going to need that kid to be performing physically at least.
So you're saying we're making it?
Oh, I don't know if we're making it this year. I mean, I believe we can, but if they don't, I'm not going to be disappointed whatsoever. I'm saying this: the Canadiens are exactly where they're supposed to be.
Yeah,
this is where they're supposed to be right now.
I don't agree with you, Office Sam, but I agree with you.
Yeah, because I'm always right. You just don't like admitting it. You always agree with me deep down inside. The core of your soul, but you can't. I would never do the same for you, Joey.
Yeah,
I would give you a little bit of hope. I'd be like, yeah, okay, he's right. But then after that, like,
listeners, that's why me and Sam are good friends. So
that's exactly why we're good friends. It's been reported by Pierre LeBrun that Kent Hughes and Jake Evans' party, his agent, they want to enter negotiations for a new contract.
As they should.
Chris and I, we spoke about this too quite a few times, because like the more Jake Evans keeps playing well, the more that discussion is going to come. Now we hear that the New Jersey Devils want Jake Evans. They're keeping an eye on him. If the New Jersey Devils, I'm going to say this, if the New Jersey Devils get a hold of Jake Evans, like Nico Hischier, Jack Hughes, and then Jake Evans down the middle, that's freaking good.
But we're in a position now where I don't think we need to be buyers nor sellers at the deadline.
I don't think so.
It's not on hate. If we do sell somebody, it's more in the likes of Savard, Gallagher, or maybe Anderson because of contracts, or maybe someone like Armia who could be, or Dvorak, like those types, not Evans. Evans is in that tier above where you don't need to sell him, and Hughes doesn't need to buy anybody for the playoffs, because we're not going to realistically make a strong run.
I think Kent has a responsibility to get something for upcoming free agent Savard. I think even if they are in a playoff position, hear me out. Even if they are in a playoff position, you might want to have somebody who's going to stabilize the defense like Savard. But at the same time, what's the goal? The kids get experience. I don't mind if they go into the playoffs, they make mistakes, but they get a taste of it. That's one. And interesting that you brought up Savard, not Savard's name, Anderson's name, Joey, because Frank Zaravalli earlier today was reporting that there might be a flicker of interest for a player like Savard. There might be a few teams.
You mean Anderson?
Anderson. Jeez. What do I have for Savard here? But yeah, Anderson, which...
Yeah.
I-
what do you
I don't
guys
know.
think
I don't
about
know.
that?
Those pool of players, in my opinion, those pool of players are not a problem, but they're also not your solution. I think if you have the right opportunity to get rid of them because they're not part of the future, where I think Evans can be because he's a little younger and contract is definitely more digestible.
Yeah, exactly.
I think if you have the opportunity, I don't think our team is going to get massively worse or better if you get rid of the guys I mentioned. So if you have the chance now, I would recoup the assets. And this is a different talk than Evans. To me, Evans is a different class from the guys I mentioned.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, but I personally believe, I want Jake Evans to come back, but the reason why it's also what he can, what kind of mentor he could be for an up and coming centerman like Owen Beck. I don't know if Jake Evans is gonna have the same type of season next season, but he's still gonna be a very valuable piece.
Exactly.
I still believe that. Like, even if he doesn't score all these goals like he's doing, the penalty kill, he's extremely important. That just a regular, that third line or that fourth line check and roll as a centerman, winning the faceoffs, he's 1,000% going to be important. But I just don't think he's going to put up the same numbers like he is this season.
He's not gonna ask for crazy demands either.
How sure are we about that? Because this might be his one opportunity to, like we say in French, sauter la banque, but for his standards. If this is his chance to go get 3-4 million the one time in his career, I don't blame him for wanting to test the market, unless he really doesn't give a shit about that, truly believes in what Kent Hughes, Jeff Gordon are building, what they're doing, where this team is going. Then he'll probably take that hometown discount.
But even if Montreal were to offer him $3 million a year,
yeah,
would you accept?
$3 million, no problem, maximum.
Yeah.
We're paying a Christian Dvorak a 4 point something
which is
cap hit.
Yeah.
That's
so important, guys, because
the $3 million for 3-4 years, yeah, no problem, because he's 28, 29, 30, 31. Maybe that contract ends at the age of 32, where in today's NHL you slowly start to decline. It doesn't mean your career is over, but
and then we have the perfect or supposedly good enough replacement in Beck, and we obviously still have Hage. We have the numbers. It's just when they are ready, that's where Hughes.
Joey, to that point, like it's such an important thing that with what you're saying, Dvorak being gone, Demidov coming in likely means that Newhook drops down to the third line. Is he going to play as your third line center? Jake Evans will buy you time while at the same time being reliable. So, people are going to scream and say overpay. I would cap Jake Evans at $4 million. If he asks anything more than $4 million for 3 years, not 4 years, not 4x4, but $4 million for 3 years, that's where I'm saying, okay, that's my absolute maximum. I still think that's a contract that would be movable. Ideally, we aim for a $3 million cap hit, but I do think that at that price, even meaning $4 million, he would still be a very reliable, allow for the transition, allow for mentorship while the cap is going up. I think it flies under the radar and we don't have any issues.
Well, then,
hopefully.
But my question is, if they do get rid of him, let's just say it happens, they trade him, they find a good opportunity. They're not re-signing Dvorak. I just don't see it. How do you solve your third line center next year?
You got to find a replacement. You got to find a veteran replacement.
It's not Newhook, right? Newhook hasn't shown to be
no
a good
chance
centerman.
of it. Exactly.
So what do? You're gonna likely get somebody who you're not sure is gonna work out for probably the same money you would sign Evans as an extension.
Bingo.
In free agency, you're gonna have to overpay it.
That's exactly it.
I listen, but I think Hughes and Gordon are smart enough to know that, and they for sure have their pro scouts looking around, either seeing through free agents or if it's somebody they could trade for. I'm just speculating. It's either one or the other if Jake Evans doesn't come back.
But Sam, I
And
can't see the difference in money between
no,
the
no, no,
free
no. The
agents.
difference in money is fine. If they do that, they got to make sure that their pro scouts got to do a good enough job to know that this veteran can maybe provide something a little bit more than Jake Evans could. Could it be a past Stanley Cup champion that won the cup, playing a third line role his whole career? It could. I don't know. I don't have the list of upcoming free agents in front of me. I don't know if they are probably targeting somebody, or if they have somebody in the back of their minds in case these negotiations or these hopeful future negotiations with Jake Evans' agent don't work out. You gotta bring somebody in, though. You cannot leave that response. I love Alex Newhook. I don't think he's a centerman. I think he's a lot more comfortable playing on the wing, using that speed. You cannot put all that responsibility on Owen Beck. And I still I love what I'm seeing from Oliver Kapanen in Europe. He's playing very well. He's putting up points. Him too, though. Like, he had little flashes here and there at the beginning of the season, but he's still a rookie. He's still a young player. He needs more seasoning in Laval next year, which I think will happen. I don't think it's responsible for the GMs and the coach to put these two young players in that position to be defensively responsible at that young age. They need. I know Owen Beck would be okay. If you put, I would love to see Owen Beck centering Gallagher and Josh Anderson, but you still need a veteran centerman that could sort of mentor this kid and kind of show him the ropes on how to play center in a bottom six role. I got to stick to that. You have to, or else you're setting yourself back maybe another year or two. Or
The
of
only one I
struggles.
can see that you're going to pay more for is someone like Sam Bennett.
Yeah,
You're going to pay more but you're going to pay more. But that's the thing. Everybody else is old or probably too young.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually looking at the list as you.
I wouldn't mind the Sam Bennett, to be honest with you, but
the other
you're
one
gonna have to
too.
pay for him.
I thought he was good in St. Louis, but he hasn't been as good in Anaheim. Was Robbie Fabry?
Yeah,
I think he's really gone like downhill since I remember his days in St. Louis.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm trying to find somebody that's not mid-30s because
no. You don't want. No, you don't.
There's
well,
not. It's scarce for in that sense. You have to take a chance on a more of an unknown.
But that kind of opens up the debate. Well, should they bring back Armia because look how well he's playing with Evans? Like, the thing about Armia, it's his age. That's the only issue right now. It's
I
his
think
age.
Armia, we have a lot more replacements for winger that are more ready. But for centers, we know the next two coming up are Beck and Hage. And to me, Beck and Hage likely will not be ready for next year.
Yeah. No, it's so that's there's a big major question mark surrounding that subject. Boys, we're gonna go on to the final topic, and it kind of deals with our general manager Kent Hughes. Like, I think on January 18th, it's gonna be the 3-year anniversary that he was brought into office and begin this whole rebuilding process. So I guess we could ask our listeners, our audience, and then I'm obviously asking the two of you, what are we thinking right now of Kent Hughes' work since day one?
I don't think we've ever doubted his work in any way. It's just like he's reaping the rewards more and more, and it's just showing that he's done such a tremendous job so far. And of course, every GM is going to get criticized, has issues of players for sure. And Kent is, I mean, he's no super perfect GM either, but he's been tremendous comparing to what we dealt with before. I mean, look at what we're seeing now. Why are you laughing, Chris?
Because, man, I think this guy has done more for this team than all GMs combined have done for the team in the past 30 years.
Well, Chris, when you don't sign a guy, when you don't panic and they like, oh my God, I got to take Dvorak at $20 million a year, you're already a winner in my books.
But what I understood from what you said is he's doing a good job. Like, I don't think he's doing
phenomenal, but I'll never say that somebody is perfect. They'll always have their mistakes. Come on, not everybody's no one's perfect.
He hasn't been perfect, but his moves have been hyper responsible. He
Absolutely.
hasn't freaking overpaid a single person. We fail to understand how, like, what's if we ask ourselves the question, I think it's going to go quiet for about 30 seconds. What's his worst move to date? Whereas if we had to say what's his best move, I think this conversation is going to go on another 20 minutes, and we're going to be fighting over the like a high number of very positive moves.
His worst move was getting DeSmith for who did he trade?
Casey DeSmith.
Casey DeSmith for.
Oh man!
I think his worst
for a few
move
hours worth of time.
I think his worst move was like getting Tyler Pitlick, maybe, and even at that, like it wasn't a terrible move, but like it wasn't a fantastic move either. It was just, or maybe trading for Gurianov. Do you guys remember that? Trading for Gurianov, maybe like those. And the thing is, those moves had absolutely zero risk.
I'll give the wait and see approach. What I mean by that is we'll see if most likely will, but there is a chance that his worst move in the future can be maybe the Slafkovsky contract. We'll see. I'm not saying it's good. I'm not saying it's bad.
You and Manio have something in common.
There is a chance. Yeah, exactly. Manio says it. Slav being overpaid remains to be seen, and I will agree with him. I can't say it was a phenomenal contract, nor can I say it's bad. It's a wait and see approach.
This is a bold statement. Hughes for Mick Parizeau. Hughes reminds me of the great Sam Pollock.
Yeah, when you put in the work, you don't give Dvorak $20 million. You don't give an aging Gallagher with bad wrist. Oh, okay, you've been a long time supporter. I'll give you $6 million. You don't do that. You don't tell guys, if you want loyalty, get a dog. You don't do any of that. You're already a winner in my book.
It's true. Heinemann was part of the Picklick deal. It's true.
Yeah,
that
was
Tyler Toffoli. That's true too. I think his best move to date, Marty St. Louis.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Drafting
Demidov. There you go. High five, Joey. Yeah. There we go.
Yeah, I could put that there too. But Marty was the start.
He changed the face. No, Sam, you stop there. He changed the face of this organization for the next decade. As soon as Demidov steps on the ice,
you put in the wrong,
and drafted Hutson, and drafted freaking Hutson.
You put in the wrong coach to show Demidov the ropes. You probably lose that player a couple of years down the line.
I look at it as you can find somebody. There's many people out there that can do worse than Marty, but there's also many people that can do as well or better than Marty. But how many times will you find a talent like Demidov? How often does it come around? That's how I see it. Demidov is more of a rare find. Yeah, you could screw up by getting the wrong coach, but you can also make the right coach. I think.
Can we also debate?
I'm putting Jacob Fowler in there. If you're gonna talk about list of draftees, I'm putting
no. I'm just saying best move. It can be from draft to you said Marty, but to find somebody like Demidov as opposed to finding a coach who can bring this team where they are like Marty. I think
Marty's vision, the way he sees the game, the way he approaches his players, I still think like he's the perfect guy for all of these pieces that are coming in.
Guys, if you're going to talk about these high picks, then I think the debate is up. Like it's a miracle that Demidov fell to the fifth overall pick, whereas Lane Hutson, we absolutely stole the guy who arguably should have been the number one pick in his draft year, ahead of Slafkovsky. Lane Hutson? Literally, Lane Hutson should have been the number one pick in. I think I'm not hesitating.
He should not have dropped in the second round like he did. He was a late second round pick.
He's a top 5, top 10.
That's theft. I think is the best move because it's it's not a given.
Demidov will make Teddy look like a good coach. He'll make anybody look like a good coach. That's what I'm trying to say.
You know what's an underrated move too? Getting 2 first-round picks to acquire Sean Monahan and then trading Sean Monahan.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't think I've ever seen that before in my lifetime with the Montreal Canadiens.
No, and he did well. I remember we talk about trying to trade him. I know he got injured. He did well to be patient and got that first round next year.
Yeah. Yeah, well, they brought him back. They brought him back for a cheaper deal, and bringing him back was super important for Sean Monahan. Mentored all those young guys, including Nick Suzuki. Like, absolutely. let's not overlook that. Sean Monahan played a big role for the development of these kids. The one move that does remain to be seen, and it's so unfortunate because I have high hopes for Ryan Backer. but it's going to be that one.
Yes.
It's going to be that one, and I'm defending the pick no matter what till the day I screw it till the day I die. I'm defending that pick, but I think Me Too. I know in the back of my mind that's one of those picks where it's like it remains to be seen, but I still believe it was the good one because defense wins championships, and I don't care what anybody says. It's been proven time and time again. So I mentioned this over and over again about Reinbacher. That injury like breaks my fucking heart, especially seeing how well Laval is playing. You know what I mean? Fuck, like the kid could have capitalized with how well Laval is doing. Caden Primo, shout out. Just saying, Caden Primo, good job, buddy. I knew you can do
Good
it
job, Primo.
in Laval. I knew you could do it in Laval. Anyways, that's a whole other thing. Do you guys have any other can't use moves before we call it a night?
Nah, we'll let him bask in his glory. We gave him enough praise.
Well, I just think one of the first things that Kent Hughes, it was just surprising. We had Marc Bergevin for the better part of, what was it, 7 years?
Dude.
And he was just like, you can't
10
get
10 years.
Yeah, he's like, you can't get a big centerman. And I'm not saying this is Kent Hughes' best move by any means, but we can't get a centerman in this league. 2 seconds later, Kent Hughes, Kirby Dach, traded to the Montreal Canadiens for Romanov, essentially, which, in itself, Kent Hughes has just been getting the job done on so many fronts. The future in Montreal is, I think, brighter than we can possibly imagine. I think as long as he does a half-decent job of managing the cap, I am going to repeat it 2 episodes in a row. I think Montreal has the capacity to be a dynasty team similar to that of Pittsburgh, similar to that of Chicago, similar to that of Los Angeles in their respective times.
This draft coming up is going to be like not the last important piece of it, but it's if we're seeing the progress that the team's making now. Like at first we all thought, okay, great, another bottom 5 pick, but then we all expected between bottom 10, bottom 15, and that means being bottom 15 means you're in the mix. So they are where they are. Go, Joey.
I was gonna say, guys, we say Kent Hughes. What about Jeff Gordon?
He's the mastermind who can't speak French behind the scenes, who's equivalent.
I think that's Jeff Molson's best move he's ever made.
I'm just saying, give him a little bit of love on the Curfew Boys.
I love, dude. Are you kidding me? I love Jeff Gordon,
two-headed monster.
Look where the Rangers
100%.
at. Look what's happening with.
But that's Chris Drury. That's not Jeff Gordon. Jeff Gordon gave Chris Drury a fucking team on the silver platter.
Yeah, and
they fucking dismantled it. The Chris Drury's dismantling all that work. I don't know if Peter Laviolette's the problem here, but there's something is not going on. There's something not clicking over there.
Did you guys hear the rumor for JT Miller for Zibanejad straight up and Vancouver? Yeah, I would have rejected the trade too.
Yeah,
but
big pizza pie. We do have 2 first-round picks this coming draft. We have our own, and then the conditional one from Calgary that has the most complicated. I think it's a lot easier to come up with a conspiracy theory than to describe how the Canadiens might acquire this first round pick. That's either the Calgary Flames or the Florida Panthers. It looks like it's going to be the Calgary Flames because Calgary's first round pick this year is top 10 protected, and they're playing a lot better than that. So there's a very good chance we're going to get that pick. But yes, we do have 2 for guys. They have the Canadiens have 21 first round picks. That's in 2 years. They have 21 draft picks in this season and next
season. Yeah,
that's 3 draft picks reduced. That's 3 draft years reduced to 2. That's a lot.
To add, Sam, I think what you're also trying to say with these conspiracy theory is I think Anthony's conspiracy theory is more likely to come true than people figure out this complicated draft of the first round.
When he can't even be here to defend himself, but that's why we call him anxious.
That's the point. His loss. He's not here. Too bad.
He mentions you a lot in the episodes when you're not there. So when now that was your chance.
I'm sure of it.
Pardon me? He
He
thinks.
thinks of me in his sleep. I'm almost sure of it.
Yeah, while he's sleeping next to his wife. Yeah, can you imagine that? That'd be a bit weird, Joe.
I'm sorry.
I wouldn't be surprised either.
Not every night, but I think once a week.
Once a week?
Yeah, once a week. He
So,
just
yeah.
comes on the episodes like, fuck, Joey's not here. Damn it. And I'm sure of it.
Boys, the Canadiens enter the Bell Center tomorrow night, Saturday night against the Dallas Stars. Any predictions? Are we?
I think they've been better on the road than at home.
Mm-hmm.
So you know what? I don't expect the win tomorrow on a back-to-back at home where you're gonna think the crowd's gonna be behind you, might be more pressure. I just think they've been better on the road lately. So Dallas is a good team, tough to beat. It's gonna be tough. I don't see them winning, but if they do, hats for them.
It's going to be tough. I'm praying to the hockey gods that Line and Savard return tomorrow because they can definitely use them. I really think.
Yeah, Struble.
Marty really, not that he overworked his players, but you could tell at the end they were tired, and it was like, and it was like, yeah, Lane Hutson did a great defensive play with his foot to break up that 2-on-1, but at some point too, like, was a bit of luck involved. Yeah, I'd say so. Was a bit of luck involved in the Suzuki goal too. Yeah, because that line was gassed. They were gassed, but they just had that extra fight in them, and sometimes that's all you need to win a hockey game. So, yeah, it's gonna be tough. Dallas is a good team. They're a good team. They're a strong team, and if they pull this off tomorrow, like, fuck, are we gonna be back tomorrow night? I don't know. Stay tuned and find out. Maybe we will, maybe we won't.
We'll make it spontaneous.
We'll make it spontaneous, but we will let our audience know. Gentlemen, anything else?
Well, all from me.
My prediction is that the empirical and historical statistics, as a suffering Habs fan, back to back,
get to it.
Everything is saying that we're going to lose, but I think the whole city of Montreal is buzzing and behind this team. I think the Bell Center is going to be fucking rocking like we haven't seen for years tomorrow.
Yeah.
So stay tuned.
I like this from JF Dubé. It's going to be rough, but I still think they can get a point.
I'll be happy with a point.
They get a point. That's 3 points. This weekend will be considered a success. Cool. We'll wrap it up.
Yep.
Thank you all for tuning in live once again to a post-game show of the Curfew Boys on YouTube and Twitter, also known as X. Like and subscribe. It's absolutely free. Tell your friends about us. Help us grow this Montreal Canadiens community. You can follow us on Twitter as well. You can listen to all our episodes on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. We're also on Instagram. We're very active on Instagram, so please follow us over there. I think we're on TikTok. I think Threads still exists. I don't freaking know anymore. Do I still use Facebook? I don't, but we're probably still there. I don't know. However, we always appreciate you guys tuning in and being part of the conversation. Really means a lot to us. And we have something to look forward to in the future. Stay tuned. We will be making a really cool announcement in the not too distant future. You guys are going to love it. Joey, Chris, thank you so much for doing this tonight as well. Thank you once again to Big Pizza Pie, Jeff Dubé, and then we had Mick, we had Manio, we had our boy Elias involved too.
Joe.
We had Joe.
In Australia.
Yes, I saw that too. Saw who was that from PI. Thank you all, man. We really appreciate it. Guys, have a good night. Enjoy the game tomorrow. It's going to be a good one, and we got to believe. Jakub Dobeš believes. We got to believe as well. Believe. Until then, bye now. Good night.
Dynasty.